college library, they have past year's exam paper. You can download from the college library. So I think it goes back 3 years, and that gives you some idea of the exam questions.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who grades the essay and the exam?
Who grades the essay?
That's not you in that.
It's me who do the first marking, then we have another professor doing the second marking. So it's double marks. Okay? The same for the exam as well. So it will be 2 hours on the same exam paper. And altogether you will see there are 6 questions like previous years. So altogether 6 questions. And out of these 6 questions, you only need to answer 2. Okay? So each question takes 50% result. And the question should be answered in 4 essay formats, like you did for the assignments. So with real introduction and some kind of structuring embedded in your answer, and then conclusion. And how to do well? You need to ensure you answer 2 questions. Okay, problems arise because in the previous years people answered 1 question very well, but then run out of time answering another question. Okay, so that is things you need to take notes when preparing for exam. And make sure you respond fully to the question. I've seen exam papers, okay, going on and on for several pages, but not actually answering the question. Okay? Not answering the question. So that is very important. And if you have time, and I think you need to revise the things you write. You draft the answer and you revise for time. So frequent reasons for poor performance. I think this is lack of preparation, and especially for international students, well, whom English is not the mother tongue. I would suggest that you practice writing timed essay. So I think that is a very good preparation for answer exams. And as I say, altogether you need to answer 2 questions. But again, you see this for the course, we have something like 9 or 10 important topics if you exclude the introduction, first lecture. Okay, 8 or 9 topics. So in order to do well for the 2 exam questions, you perhaps need to practice beforehand. And when you practice, do not limit your bets to just 2 questions, because in that way, the questions you were prepared may not come out in the exam paper. So to alleviate that kind of risk, you need to practice more, so that the answers you already prepared do come out. Okay? I would suggest you prepare at least 4 with the essays. And you already done 1, yeah? For the assignments, you already done 1. So the question is, you need to prepare another 3. You can perhaps do another preparation for the other assignment topic, and then check the previous exam papers, see whether you can practice time analysis and the other 2 topics. And this I've already said, lack of time management. This I think is across the board. There's unfinished answers to both questions, or one question answers significantly better than the other. Others short of time, and see the students writing exams. I run out of time, so I couldn't finish the answer. But there's nothing I can do. I can only assess the things you write on the exam paper. And also, I emphasize you need to write eligibly. Okay, don't scribble throughout your exam paper, because that's going to be detrimental. The exam paper goes through me, goes through second marker, goes through external. Okay, if any of us cannot recognize your writing, then it's problematic. Okay, so for your own benefits, I suggest you write eligibly, write clearly. Okay? And poor performance in terms of poor grasp of the subjects. I've seen the students writing generally about a country and a region. Then, but there's no any mentioning of the theories we have discussed throughout the course. So this is a important thing in note. For lower marks, in that case, students would have answered all the questions. But for some questions which has two parts, for example, asking you, are there particular reasons, for example, the states has played a significant role in the Asia-Pacific region? So this is like two-part question. One asking you to demonstrate your understanding whether the role of state government agencies is important for economic growth and a wide range of other things in the Asia-Pacific region. You need to show your knowledge and understanding that aspects. But also you need to address the question which asks you, are there any particular reasons? Okay? So this is two-part question, although it's asked in a single question. There's two aspects you need to address. But if you only answer one part, most of the students answers, well, the role of state is very, very important in the following aspects. I will give examples, for example, in Japan, in South Korea, in China, to illustrate my points. All very well, but the students haven't answered, are there any particular reasons? But only show that I understand, yes, the role of state is very important. Didn't argue, or didn't try to answer, address the specific reasons for the important role of the states. And also lack of examples. You see that throughout the lectures we have tried to illustrate our arguments or theory using specific examples, country level examples, or company level examples. And that's the thing you need to do. Okay? And if the question asks you compare, for the essay question, for example, compare and contrast national business systems in Japan and China. Yeah, some of you did that, I believe. Then you have to refer to country level examples. You cannot just say the national business system in general, how it plays out in specific countries like Japan and China. So you need to constantly refer to the examples. Examples could be at country level. And in essay topic 1, Japan and China are the country level examples you should refer to. But the question, if I ask you whether the second essay question, whether the role of state is important for technology upgrading for upgrading technologies in the Asia-Pacific region, then this is more general. You could refer to any countries in the region, but at least you need to have two countries. Otherwise, it's not a comparison. Okay, it's one country side. This is not a specific course about Japan or China or South Korea. Rather, this is a course looking at the region as a whole. So, for region-related questions, you need to use at least examples covering two countries, okay, or two companies in two countries. That's all acceptable. Okay? And lack of structure and focus. That is a common area for not only exam, but also for essay. People started telling me everything they know, but neglecting, for example, a good structure. You need to have some kind of introduction. Tell me how you're going to structure an essay. And, you know,
what's the difference between an extended and illustrative example? If the question asks for an extended or an illustrative example.
The extended, that is, you know, you show some in-depth knowledge of a particular company case study. For example, you can use the case examples we did. We have 4 case examples in this course. Yeah. Then, for example, for the sessions that I mean, you can use either Lenovo or Acer as your company example. Then, if you could show some in-depth knowledge and extend the case analysis to the specific exam question, that is called extended And sometimes, you use just 2 or 3 sentences, illustrative points.
Sure.
That is just illustrative, okay? For illustration, okay? And you need to think about examples. Well, whether you can show, using examples, whether you can show your in-depth knowledge, or just using example to illustrate the point you're making. Okay? There's some differences between the two. Essay structure, focus, very important, addressing the question. And again, for students achieving lower marks, time management could be a problem. Very often it happens that students spend like 2/3 of time answering one question, when he or she realizes it's insufficient time for the second question. So take notes. In the following, I listed, I'm not going to go through this in detail. You can, this is available on the Moodle. This is just taken from the course guides. So for each lecture, these are the key points that have been set or discussed through the lecture. And I just highlighted some important things just for the purpose of exam preparation. So economic growth and industrialization of the region after World War II. That is a topic which is very important to go through different parts of the course. The role of state in economic developments. Okay? In the first part of the course, the role of state is discussed for individual countries. Okay? And the second part, we're trying to looking at comparing the trust of the role of state in different countries. So the second topic, looking at Japan, and you would need to understand the particular features of Japanese business. Yeah? And the time period important time periods after the Second World War, state-business relations, interfirm relations, manufacturing techniques, employment practices. These all discussed in the lecture by looking at the features. And the latter part of the course, when we discuss the national business system, these points come back again, and the emphasis is comparing trust rather than understanding these issues for a single country. Okay, so we have tried to give you specific knowledge and trying to consolidate your knowledge. And lecture notes, okay, or on the Moodle. If anything you don't understand, I suggest you go through the specific lecture notes again. Third